Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hey, before we get started, I want to remind you that you can help support the channel by donating. I have links down below to PayPal and Ko-fi.com. We're having a little hitch in the giddy up. You know, sometimes things happen all at once, and as it tends to do. And so if you want to, and you can, now would be a good time. Check out those links. And we would really appreciate it. And you can also purchase some of my books. I have links down below for that as well. And that always helps. So whatever you want to do, if you can, we do appreciate it. And it would be awesome. And don't forget, if you like this video, to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Now, you know me, I like to talk about all the awesomeness that is Cambodia, in my opinion. It's like when you hear your favorite song and you say, man, that's my jam. And, you know, that's the way I felt about living here ever since I got here 7 years ago. It just fits me. And I think it will fit a lot of other people. There's many good reasons to come here to retire. I've talked about them many times, and I'll talk about them in the future as well. But in this video, I want to let you know, I just want you to be prepared fully before you make that commitment. And I'll use examples from my life, because I think it's going to depend on each individual, what I'm about to say. But even now, despite how much I love living here, there are things I still miss about the United States. Things that aren't readily available over here, or maybe a little bit more difficult to obtain or do, because it is, you know, still a developing country. But, you know, you do a pro and con list, and the good things definitely outweigh the things you can't get. I mean, sometimes, you know, you just have to accept that you either have to accept once you get here that there are some things you're not going to be able to do or get over here like you could back where you come from, and you'll either have to accept that and let it go, or drive yourself crazy and become miserable over those things. And we don't want you to be miserable. We want you to be happy. So let me just tell you what I'm talking about. When I've known people who have come over here with very good intentions, and then for whatever reason they really started missing home after a couple months and decided to just move back. You know, they miss their friends, they miss their family, they miss certain things they could do where they came from that they couldn't do here, or maybe they had a hard time fitting in. And that's the first thing I do want to tell you, that as you know, everybody says that Cambodia is a very welcoming country, very friendly, open their arms wide. They're just very good people. But you have to realize that as a foreigner, as open and supportive and welcoming as it is, that you're going to be accepted and welcomed, but you're never really going to be a part of the community in the way you would if you were born and raised here, if that makes sense. There's always this feeling like you're still an outsider, kind of. And it's not that they're shunning you, it's not that they're pushing you away, it's just you get this feeling that you're a foreigner. You're always going to be an outsider. You're never going to be part of an inner, the inner clique, I guess you can say, of Cambodian life in general. And sometimes people are looking for more of that acceptance, that full on, hey, I'm from here, you're from here. We're one, united, and that kind of feeling. But you're always going to be kind of an outsider in some things here. And you should be prepared for that. But you make friends, very friendly people here. As I said, very open, very welcoming. But you'll always be a foreigner, no matter how long you're here. So that's something to keep in mind. And also, the things you're going to miss about where you come from, it might not be as bad as you think, and other things might weigh a little heavier. And sorry for that interruption. My camera was doing something weird. I started getting a warning light, and I was like, I got to check it out. Anyway, let me tell you about my example. Like, when I first came over here, I thought there were some things I was going to have a hard time not having access to anymore. I thought it would be a struggle. I thought it would be a burden. And then there were other things I thought, it's going to be no problem. I don't even care about those things. And what I found out that for the most part, those things were opposite. Like the things I didn't think I'd care about, I find myself thinking more about. And the things I thought I would really, really miss and really be suffering not having, I guess you can say, I wound up not caring. I mean, my lifestyle back home was, I was kind of a slave to the routine. I worked a third shift factory job. I got up at the same time every evening. I had basically the same thing to eat before I went to work at the same time. I went and did a job that I hated. It was boring, repetitive, required really no thinking skills whatsoever, outside of learning it for the first time, and then it was just repetitive and soul-crushing. And because of that, I didn't do anything outside of that work. I liked the people I worked with, I just didn't like my job. But I didn't want to hang out with the people I worked with because it reminded me of work, which I didn't like. So as soon as work was done, I would just go home. Every Friday I would stop at the store after my shift and just buy everything I needed for the entire next week. Because it was work to home, work to home, work to home, with very little variation in between. And on the weekends, it was just me. And what I would do at home was simply, all the time, watch TV and play video games. That's all I did when I wasn't working. And I mean it, that's all I did. And I thought for sure, now, yeah, you can buy TVs over here, smart TVs, big screen, flat TVs. You can buy all those. And they do have cable, although it can be difficult to find foreign channels here that you want without an extra service or whatever. But, I mean, you could do that. But I really thought I would really miss just watching TV for hours and hours, playing video games for hours and hours. And yet, here I am 7 years later, never bought a TV, never bought a game system, and it wasn't as difficult as I thought. Because without that, I was able to get out and explore the new country I was in, and I found out I liked doing that. more than I liked sitting around watching TV for 8 hours a day after work. Getting out, actually meeting people, and interacting, trying to be part of the community. And that really surprised me, because I remember once we had a guy at work, and he told me once, we were just talking in the break room there. I was talking about a TV show that I liked at the time, asking him if he watches, and he just said very casually, "Oh, I don't own a TV." And I thought the man was crazy. I was like, "What?" That was my thing, to the point where I could not believe that there were actually people in the United States that did not own a TV. Like, what do you do from the time you get out of work until you got to go back in the next day? Like, what else is there to do? Like, how do you sit in your chair and wait for the hours to pass away? Like, I was just like, I didn't understand. I thought that was the weirdest thing anybody's ever said to me, because that was my lifestyle, and I figured I couldn't live without that. But then I get over here and realize, oh, I get it now. If I could get a hold of that guy, if he had any contact information, I'd be like, I get it now. I'm sorry for telling people you're crazy behind your back. But yeah, I thought I would miss that, but I don't. And oddly, the things I miss are just very inconsequential. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. And as I said, you got to either let those things go or drive yourself crazy. The access to very high speed internet. I mean, compared to here, my high speed was like top notch, readily available. Getting packages shipped, from like Amazon, very expensive to ship here. Yes, you can use third-party services, but again, for the things I would actually buy or want, it's extremely expensive. It's prohibitively expensive. So if there's something you want that you can't find here, you just got to learn to go without. Or if you have somebody with an excess of money back home that would ship it to you, that's always an option, but I don't. So it's just those little things that I didn't think would be a problem that I actually wind up missing more than the big things I thought. And why am I telling you all this? Because I think it's important to have the right mindset. I think it's important to know, and not just know mentally, but really let it sink in that when you move somewhere like here or anywhere else, things are going to be different. Maybe in an overall sense, yes, things are the same. You can get food here. You got your apartment. You got your food. You got your entertainment venues. So life in general goes on, but it's those specific things that sometimes, and it does, people realize they miss them so much that they'll just go back home even though they're here. But they just can't live without certain things. So it's important that you do an introspective reading of yourself, I guess you can say, and really determine what things you might not be able to readily get over here, or might have to go through some hoops to get, that you could readily get back in your country. And if those things are worth it to you, so you don't have to come here and find out after you've already gone through all the hassle of selling your stuff and things like that. So it's just one more thing to chew on, one more thing to think about, and I hope you do. All right, remember to check out all my links down below. Like I said, I have PayPal and Ko-fi.com. Other links for other channels are down below. They're all excellent, and you should definitely check them out as well. And from Siem Reap, Cambodia, I will talk to you guys in the next one.